And here we are again. All right. I think I just saw Chipper the cat just join us. Oh, it's Sugar. Hey, Sugar baby. Hey, little cute one. Okay, let's talk now about anxiety and fear and how these energies can hit you with some really, really unpleasant things, but how we can not only overcome them, but become a no longer matching frequency to them so that we don't experience them. Let me open up, and I'm going to try and do this as succinctly as I can. Try and do some shorter videos for you all. Oh, Facebook wants to drop away on my iPad. Let's see if we can get it to come on and stay a while. We're still live here, it says. Hey everybody. I'm not going to greet everyone because I want to get this done and get it out there for you, and then I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel so you can access it at any time you like. Okay, let's talk about this because some of the comments on the page this morning were very strong and showed that people are really going through difficult times with all these energies. And of course what I'm talking about is the Schumann is spiking like crazy. We're seeing it on both the Russian Schumann and the alternative Schumann, though it's not as high, it's not showing as high or as intense on the regular, the alternative charts, but they're definitely spiking. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail, but Kumiana looks dumbed down to me. That's just my opinion. The chart of Kumiana that's normally very non-demonstrative and not dramatic is very dramatic right now, and the one that normally shows what's going on is kind of blasé, and that doesn't make sense, but that's been going on a little bit. But the Russian one is whiting out, and that's the big time spiking, and they're not having storms. I've been checking. Now, what are some of the symptoms that people experience? Well, one of the main ones I hear you all expressing is anxiety. The human being is prone to feel in our state that we're in now, before we totally remember who we really are, we're prone to feel anxiety when something new influences us or affects us. Even if it's good, it becomes what they call good stress, which can give you some of the same kind of problems that you don't really enjoy. It pushes your nervous system, different parts, your body responds. When we're dealing with these kinds of energies, it's going to affect whatever is a hot spot in you, whether it's emotional, feelings, weaknesses or propensities to weaknesses in your body, or patterns of thinking in your mind. I want to talk to you about that right now. There is a really famous guy on YouTube who is, a spiritual type leader. But I watched him last Sunday use the word scared and afraid probably 20 times about himself. Talked about how scary things are, how scary the times are, how scary this is, how scared this made him. And I looked at him and I thought, wow. The master said, what comes out of your mouth will show you what's in your heart. Very simple truth. And I often say to people when they're having unpleasant or undesirable feelings, and I've been a type of leader, teacher, guru, whatever you want to call it, for a long time now. Before it was more on a one-on-one or a group basis. Now we're a really big group, and I don't get to see you all face to face. We connect spiritually, though, big time, and from our hearts and our minds. But when they would come to me and they'd say, oh, I'm experiencing this, or I'm feeling this, or I'm depressed, or I'm sad, or I'm afraid, or whatever, I would say, okay, what are you thinking about? What kind of thoughts are you having? And they're like, well, what do you mean? I said, just what kind of thoughts come to your mind when you're alone, or when you're driving down the road, or all the time? What kind of thoughts are frequenting you? Because your feelings will always follow your thoughts. Y'all hear me? Your feelings will always follow what you think about. It will always follow these root base beliefs that you've either been told or you have formed because of experiences from the past. It's affected your amygdala, your hippocampus in your brain, and that's how allergies and crazy stuff occur, because of past experiences that enter into a place of trauma. And all of a sudden now your brain, deep inside where you have trouble getting to it, is now trying to protect you from something that it perceives as a possible problem. You develop allergies, you develop anxieties and stuff, and you avoid relationships, and you stay single forever, and things can happen because of experiences. Or it may be because that's just the way your family is. You know, maybe your whole life you grew up with someone sitting in front of a television watching the mainstream news and watching one disaster after the other. And if you watch the mainstream news, you will probably be anxious or nervous or think everything's coming apart. But you know what? Everything is breaking apart so it can be made right. That's where I believe we are right now. You know, if a house is coming to pieces and it's leaning sideways, you got to fix it somehow. You got to deal with the foundation. You have to deal with the structure. And while it's being fixed, altered, or completely changed, it may not look like a wonderful situation. But we're going someplace really good. It's time. It's time by the timetables of many ancient writings, belief systems. It shows we are at that time, that era, that length of time where we're getting ready to see us move into an entirely new place. Oh, there we are. So things get a little bit different when change is happening. But how we react to it is our choice. Realizing that is the first step. Understanding that we're not victims. We don't have to remain victims. Let me put it that way. We are equipped with abilities and powers and gifts that come with humanity, being human alone. Things that have been put in us, that is our right to move in those things. And the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So it is with all of us. When we're ready, the information we need, the knowledge, the understanding, the brand new concept, all of it will come when it's time. And so it is with a lot of us right now. I think I'm going through continual epiphanies, amazing revelations and understanding and new thought. I'm like, wow, it's like fast forward. Here we go. So realize what you are feeling is directly correlated to what you are thinking and to what you have been thinking. And we can control that. We can change that. If you find that you're thinking fearful things all the time, you're going to be fearful. It will be one of your first reactions. I have good friends who see everything that would terrify most other people as an amazing opportunity, adventure, and a challenge. It's all the way you look at it. Things that frighten a lot of people, it doesn't occur to me. But I could think those thoughts and I could get in exactly that same boat. Now, if you're having anxiety, I want you to realize, first of all, okay, for me to you, there is no condemnation. There's no judgment or put down. I just want to hand you something that can work for you. I have dealt with panic attacks and anxiety attacks in my 20s that I will never forget, but they are a past thing to me, thank God. At that moment, and it could last a long time, I felt like I was on the brink of death, that I was like being held over a cliff. It was that terrifying. There was no clear reason or impetus. I did go through a very bad time with my heart. I had heart failure in my 20s. It was based on a lot of stuff I was going through in stress and trauma. And sometimes you go on a subconscious thing where you don't know where it's coming from. But this is where now we understand we can shift it. I took spiritual authority over mine. I really worked on it and realized that I could take authority over it. And I did. And it took a while, but I broke out of it. I had to rewire my thinking. I had to discipline my thoughts and my feelings. And I had to use some very specific tools to help myself. And you may need to also. But the exciting thing is now we have the internet, now we have YouTube, now we have Facebook, we have things at our fingertips that when I was in my 20s, which would have been the 80s, I'm 64 now, I didn't have that stuff. I had books, I had a few cassette tapes. Now, one of the things I would really encourage you to do is find somebody you really like, that you like and you want to follow, who is teaching on this kind of stuff. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza is one of my favorites. Now, I don't just listen to these people, I do it. I'm done with that. I'm done with wasting my time. I don't listen and then just keep doing what I'm doing. You've got to listen with all your heart. And you've got to get your head to listen to as much as you can. And then you take a little bit at a time and you begin doing it. Like, I'm not afraid in my house. I'm not afraid of sounds in the night. I'm just not. But if I watch crap, pardon my language, on TV or on my phone that was filled with fear, movies and stuff like that, I would probably be afraid. My imagination would be geared that way. One time the Lord showed me this. Your imagination is like the birthing canal of your soul and your spirit. It's how you take things from the world of intangibility, the things that are not solid yet. You pull them from out there into here and you imagine it. You feel it, you see it, you hear it, you taste it, And this works for good and bad. And it begins working its way through that birthing canal type thing that is our imagination and our thoughts and our visualization. And that brings it, the stronger you feel it, the stronger you access your senses, the quicker it comes in to this realm. I'll tell you another way, is what you say. Here's an old scripture. As a man thinketh, a man or a woman thinketh, so are they. That's what you are, what you think. And I said, the master said, whatever comes out of your mouth shows what's in your heart. What we say is really important. Another one was, using just a huge example. When you say to that mountain, what is your mountain? What is it? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it a health condition? When you say to that mountain, be removed from me, be cast into the sea, and you believe it, it's been revealed that that scripture needs a little extra clarified, that got lost, shall we say, in translation. Believe it and feel it in your heart as if it's already done. You will have whatever you say. You see it? Thinking, feeling, imagining, speaking, and feeling it as if it's already happened. Now, many of you may already know all this. This may be like the ABCs for you, but sometimes we can be reminded, and it's a good thing. I have to remind myself from time to time, for sure, because I don't live in the highest level of frequency 24/7, though I want to. And I'm going there. The love encapsulates all of this. If you know how loved you are, if we know how loved we are, if we realize that, whether you want to say the universe or God or source or your heavenly mother and father, because God is bigger than male or female, not little encapsulated like it is in our world. If you realize one of the names for God is love, you realize you're loved just like you are, that everything is known about you. There are no secrets. You are loved just the way you are. Wow. That'll make you feel confidence. That'll make you realize we're here to live, to have an experience, to grow, to love each other, to move forward, to break through things in this particular world. A lot of people who believe a lot of things. I don't know about a lot of it. I don't think it really matters. I think the bottom line is we are here for a reason and a purpose. And if you believe you were sent here, that you were born for such a time as this, if you believe you're a star seed or a light worker or a prayer warrior or an intercessor, or a spiritual teacher, or a bright light in this place, someone who lives on such a high frequency that you change everybody and everything around you, now is the time to do it. Full force. And I know you all are already there, because I can tell by what comes out of your mouth. In the comments, the kindness that is on our page is astounding. The thoughtfulness, the gentleness, the love that is shared between you when you see someone going through a really tough time, which we all do. You all are loving and caring and embracing one another with your words, and also I know you're sending love and energy and prayers for those, and it's amazing. You all are, I say it a lot, but I'm serious, you're the best. Now, begin observing with a almost disinterested air what you think about. Just watch it, like from a distance. Watch the things you say out of your mouth. A lot of our daily conversation is riddled with stuff we can get rid of. That would do us good to dump. Like, do you believe that's true? Well, I'm afraid so. What interesting phrase. Are you afraid? I don't want to be afraid. Whatever. Just notice the words. I've heard people talk about, writing. What is it? It's called spelling. We create with our words. We are spelling. We are casting spells of power with what we say. We are speaking things into existence. We are creating. We are showing and aligning ourselves with certain energies, with certain frequencies. Everything has a frequency. What is that? Rose, that's so funny. It's got a heart with people holding hands going round and round. I'm not sure what it means, but I think I like it. What was I saying? If you align yourself with certain frequencies, certain beliefs, certain concepts, certain thoughts, certain feelings, if you have reoccurring feelings and thoughts, notice them and say, do I want to keep those, or maybe I want to let those go. You all know back a little over a year ago, I had to have some significant dental surgery done. And I had a real fear of the dentist. It came out of real experience, and I'm just going to talk plain with you. When I was a child and my permanent teeth came in, they were all bad. They were weak. They looked fine to begin with. It turns out the enamel and the construction was flawed. I now understand it was because of severe abuse I had gone through during that time. Things I did not even remember. Now I remember a lot. I don't want to remember anymore. Whatever comes, that's fine. I will deal with it. But the stresses we go through in our lives, maybe, your parents went through a divorce during the time when you were developing and growing new teeth or whatever. We don't make those kinds of choices. But now I knew what it was. I'm getting ahead of myself. I had to have 9 teeth filled in one dental visit. They found 9 cavities in my little mouth. I have a small mouth. Makes it difficult for dentists and for me. We brushed our teeth morning and night. My mother was religious about it. We went to the dentist every 6 months. It wasn't because I didn't brush my teeth. It was because of stress and trauma. My teeth did not come in right. Now, as a child of 8 or 9, I don't remember which, sitting in a dentist chair with a crank, a metal crank, vertically put in. It weren't cushioned, it was metal. It pinched and hurt me, and it took 2 or 3 dental visits to do all the fillings, and of course the numbing and all of that stuff, and I'm sensitive to all of that. I can't even use the numbing. I'd rather them do whatever they do to my teeth with no numbing agent, because I developed an intolerance for all of that. I'm just telling you this so you'll understand. It was torture. I remember leaving one of the dental visits when they filled my tooth up with that silver amalgam, which a large percentage of is mercury. I remember walking down the hall with my mother and my brothers, and I was ramming into the walls. I was so dizzy and disoriented. I was poisoned with mercury at that point, which has given me things to overcome my whole life. But the main thing I had to overcome was the fear of the dentist. And when I found out I was going to have extensive work on my teeth because all the fillings were breaking, my teeth were breaking, it was a huge challenge. I was terrified on a level it's hard to describe. It was not a conscious level, really. And so what did I do? I prayed and I asked for a pathway because I knew I had to do it. And I knew I had to get it done. And so I started watching Dr. Joe Dispenza. He was the one that I could relate to. And I took what he said in his videos and I did it. I woke up every morning, first thoughts. Oops, sorry, hanging stuff around under my drawing table here. I watched what my first thoughts were. No, I don't want to repeat yesterday. I don't want to repeat the last 60-something years of my life. I want something new. So I would remember, what is it I've decided I want? I would then begin to visualize it. I would feel it like it was already happening. I would stay with it until I felt a joy inside. It had to do with the dental work. I imagined how it would feel after it was over. And how much better when all that infection was out and everything else I was battling. And I would stay with it until I had it, like it had already happened, and I felt joy and victory. And it took me a little while. I stayed at it every morning without exception because I knew I had to rewire my deep part of my brain. And I stayed at it. And when I went to the dentist to have all that work done, I was a different person. I had also a fear of being put under sedation. You all may not want to hear all this. I want you to realize I'm very human. I have had health challenges. I've nearly died so many times, it's ridiculous in my earlier life. And that wires things in that you've got to process as time goes on. Well, in this case, I had an emergency appendectomy in my early 20s. And he said, the doctor said, your appendix is supposed to be about the size of your pinky finger. Mine was like almost 7 inches long and filled with gangrene. Well, they took me in for emergency surgery, didn't get the chance to dry me up, as they call it, and I woke up out of the anesthesia and I couldn't breathe. I mean, could not breathe. And I saw faces come over me, the bright light over my table, and they looked at each other and they covered me with a mask again. I think I may have been in recovery, I'm not sure, but they tell me that some spittle or something got into my vocal cords and spasms started and it closed my throat off. And when the guy came in, the anesthetist, my mother was with me at the hospital, mom's in bed. He came in and he said, he was very flippant about everything. I said, you know, I couldn't breathe at a certain point. What was that about? He said, no big deal. You just had a little saliva get in your vocal cords and you had a spasm. I said, could I have died of that? And he said, yeah, sure. Now, mind you, I was still under the influence of having been in anesthesia, under anesthesia. Even with all those stitches down the middle of me where they did exploratory surgery, I came out of that bed. I was coming after him. My mother had to stand up and stop me. I was unfiltered. I was not happy. And that's terrible. And the guy backed away, but he shouldn't have been so flippant, I think. I was upset, and I reacted from the subconscious, I think. Anyway, I calmed down, but That made me never want to go under anesthesia again, and they put me to sleep to do all this work on my teeth, and they would not do it without putting me under. So that was another thing I had to deal with. But you know what? I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. And I'm not afraid of anesthesia anymore. Why? This deep-rooted thing from so early in my life that was like a river of doom running underneath the surface of my soul. I faced it, and I replaced it, and I know how to do it now. And in a nutshell, I just told you how to. But go, watch people like Dr. Joe Dispenza, who will give you the scientific understanding of how to break it. It was huge. It was huge. And whatever is going on with you, or used to be going on with you, that you've overcome, it is huge, or it was huge also. But it can become a thing of the past. And I'll say it again, how to do it. Decide what you want. First, spend time just standing back with no judgment, as if you're looking at someone else's experience in life. Just observe from an objective place. Start noticing what comes out of your mouth, what words you say. Start noticing what makes you feel certain things. Start noticing if you're experiencing fear or anxiety or whatever, or if you shut down over certain things. Just start observing it. See what triggers it. Notice how you respond. Then decide what you want, how you want to feel, how you want to respond. These things are within us to do. Yes, supernatural, you can have an experience and bam, everything has changed. You can be rewired in a second. I've experienced that too. But it isn't the way it always happens. There's a phrase called renewing of the mind. Reaching a place where you deal with your thinking, your belief system, but you do it from a place where you know you are loved. You know that you've been given the tools by our Creator. You know it's in there. And you choose to love yourself enough and all those around us to be the best we can be. To influence our world, to be a bright light in a dark place. To bring hope where people are so hopeless. As I have said so much recently, all of creation, all of nature, the animals, the earth, everything, the plants, is going through something like travail, like a woman giving birth. That's what the ancient scriptures say. Longing and waiting for what was done to them to be undone and to be returned to the way things are meant to be. Before we forgot who we were, we, the guardians of this world, we, the ones who watch over and care for the earth and the creatures, we forgot who we were. And it says that all of creation, all of nature, is waiting with great anticipation, longing for the revealing of the sons and the daughters of God, the Creator, waiting for us to wake up and remember who we are, so that this whole place can come back to where it was meant to be. That's where we are, beloved. This is one of the ways we remember. We take the tools that are in us. We take the connection to our source. And you receive it with love. You realize you're loved. that the greatest lie ever told was that God, Source, Creator, Universe, Great Spirit, was angry at you and wanted nothing to do with you and was out to get you. Even when Yeshua, the great teacher, was here, he said, as he loved the people that were rejected and thrown out, he said, if you see me, you have seen Source. You have seen the Father, Mother, God. If you see me, because I am like that one I came from. We got to break that lie. We are loved. We are love. And this is the light in us. The kingdom of heaven is in us. It's inside here. Reconnecting and breaking through that horrible lie is the way we do this and return and remember who we are. Realizing we are loved just as we are. And for those of you who come from a very traditional background, like I did, you know the story in Genesis, just open your hearts right now. Just say, okay, I'm open, I'm gonna listen. I don't have to believe it or agree, but just open up and be open-minded about it. I want to break that lie down as quickly as I can. When the serpent, reptilian, devil, whatever you want to call it, spoke to the first man and woman and said, God doesn't really love you because he knows if you eat from this tree of the knowledge of good and evil that you'll be like him, and he's trying to keep you from having that because he doesn't really love you. So you should go ahead and do what he warned you not to do because, well, he doesn't really love you, bottom line. And they did. All of a sudden, everything became binary. All of a sudden, man and woman were not one, two sides of the same coin. Now they were separate. Now they're different. It's like night is bad and day is good. No, they're both good. We entered into this opposition type thinking. Furthermore, they were afraid. First mention of being afraid. And it says that this one who loves us came walking in the garden at the cool of the evening. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Like this one did every night. In the cool of the evening to fellowship and hang out with these beautiful human beings, the man and the woman. But wait, they had already eaten the forbidden fruit. They had already sinned. They had already done what he had warned them not to do. But guess what? He came anyway. How many people have you heard point that out? He came in the evening, in the cool of the evening, when they would come and meet together. He came even though they had done it. He wasn't mad. He wasn't angry. He didn't hate them. How about that? Though they had been told that they would be hated. And their minds, their whole demeanor had been shifted into an unnatural way of thinking that was not right, to see opposition and enemies and evil everywhere. It had all changed. And that's why this one who loved them, he looked at them and he saw the darkness and the fear and how they were coming apart. They had forgotten who they were. They were afraid of this one. And love said, shut the gate. They can't eat of the tree of life and live like this forever. He didn't want to curse them to a life of death and fear. He made immediate provision to send one who would show them love and restore them. That went from within the first 3 chapters of Genesis. So the truth of the matter is, we're loved. The one who made us and created us, that we come from and are part of, is love. That is one of the biggest things you can break down. Get over, and then you move into oneness, realizing that all we came from is we are connected to. We're not in a place of lack. There's abundance. You know? I know when I lay hands on someone who is sick that the power of life flows through my hands. And I have seen tumors the size of fists disappear in a matter of minutes. I have seen so many things. I won't go into all of them. I've seen lots of them. They're absolutely miracles. Why? Because I punched a hole through the top of the roof here. I was determined to know, and I got rescued by love that was reaching down to me. And I'm learning the older I'm getting, that it's all love. It's all love. It's all love. There is no judgment. I'm sorry if that offends you, I really am. Even the master said it, judge not that you be not judged. Why? Because you get free of the matrix. You get free of this fake scenario we're living in, this simulation. The way you do it is by forgiveness, by refusing to judge, to come out of the system, and then you're free. You're like Neo standing in the telephone booth. You got it. You know it now. You're unlimited. If you're struggling really hard when these energies come in, just realize that they are big, powerful, light energies. They are photonic energy. Light is good. But when light hits those dark things in us, things stuck maybe on the meridians, the power highways in our lives, it jars against it. And darkness doesn't enjoy the light. They are contrary to one another. And it nudges, the light hits it, and this darkness, that belief system, that infirmity, that weakness, that way of thinking, that fear, whatever it is that is dark and sticky and heavy energy, it gets whacked by this incoming beautiful light, and you feel some of the symptoms many times of this dark ick as it is being dislodged off of you, off of your organs where disease is hooked in, off of your energetic pathways where the life and the light flow through your body, through your energetic body, through everything. And yes, it can be a little uncomfortable. Here's the key: do not be afraid. The light has come to help. The light has come to free you from something that's trying to hold you back. These photonic energies coming in are not our enemy. Yeah, they're challenging because they challenge whatever is lower frequency than it. And this is where we can just observe without judgment and say, okay, I'm feeling a lot of stuff. Take a deep breath. Just let yourself center. Remind yourself you're loved. That we're not going through all this for nothing. We're going someplace really good, which is 5D, which is a place where sickness, disease, lack, fear, cruelty, hatred, all those things don't even exist anymore. That is where we're going, because everyone will understand we're one with our source and we're one with one another. If I do it to you, I've done it to me. That there's abundance for everyone, and we instantly step into an entirely new realm. All of us who are willing to go. This is part of the process of raising our frequency so that we can be in alignment with and draw ourselves into that timeline that is good, where things are happening to bring us into that beautiful place, which is where we were meant to be from the beginning. I hope that was helpful. This is the way I see things. This is how I feel about it. Challenges come, but you know, we're not alone. We are loved. We are loved. We have each other, and we are loved by the one who matters the most. We are destined for this. I want to go in the first bus. I want to take the first wave into that beautiful frequency and dimension. I have been there, I have visited there, but it's meant for us to live here all the time in that beautiful place. So don't be afraid, and don't let your heart be discouraged. The answers are there, and you're being led to them. And if you need to make some radical shifts like I've needed to make and I'm making right now, find your pathway, seek it, and it will show up. Go check out Dr. Joe Dispenza or, any one of these people who teach it and actually live it. Go find them. Find your spiritual path. Find your metaphysical path. Find your whatever path. I am losing weight right now. I feel better than I have in quite some time. All the abuse, the ritual abuse I went through as a child, so bad that I was fragmented and didn't even remember it, was giving me symptoms. And if you take an alkaline test of my saliva, it's abominably acid, which is not good. That draws all the bad stuff, but something in me has been stronger than that. I've recovered from many things that were supposedly incurable. But when I discovered this whole part of me that was hidden away for survival, I started needing to process those things. There lies my healing path right now. So I'm going to do whatever is needed to help me. I'm going to love me that much. I'm going to love you all that much. Because whatever I get, I'm going to give to you just like we all give to one another. So, after I finish this phase, which I'm in the keto phase right now, strict keto, and you mean strict, no carbs, only carbs that are occurring in like cheese and avocado, things like that. And I've dropped 18 pounds in 2 weeks. I'm thrilled. I'm drinking lemon water, alkaline lemon water. There's some right here. Lemon water, about 10 to 12 glasses a day. I'm doing Epsom salt baths, as hot as I can stand, for at least 50 minutes, or until I see the water go foggy because my lymphatic system is cleansing itself. And pretty soon I'm going to shift over to a fruitarian type of regime, because I need to alkalize as well as lose the weight. But it's like going in phases, and I do muscle testing, I do strength testing on myself, and I'm following the pathway to the best I can understand, and listening to the great counselor advisor. We all have to do what we need to do to get where we want to go. Some of us have a more dramatic pathway, and some of us it's not quite that dramatic. Some of us it seems to come easier, but you know, it just depends on where we are in this great wheel of life. Bottom line, you're loved. The path is in front of you. It will reveal itself if you look for it. And there are ways and abilities to break through even the subconscious things that try to hold us back. And we can access all of that now like we never could before. So avail yourself of everything that's available. And live long and prosper. I'm playing with you. I'm serious. Let's live long and prosper. Let us enter into the world that is higher than the lower dimensions. Let us be a bright light in this place. And when the next timeline shift hits, which by the way, I'm going to show you in the very next video, we're going to ride that wave, shall we? Mwah! Love you. And if you want to do the heart brain coherence meditation, we ended the first video, which was a lot shorter, with doing just that. Deep breath in and out. You feel the love here. Can you feel it from me to you? Yeah, I can feel you all out there. One more breath. I'll see you soon. I'm going to make a new video right now. Mwah. See ya.